Yo, yo, what is going on, my fellow wrestling fans? Welcome to a brand new week and welcome to a post AEW All In Texas Saturday night's main event and WWE Revolution edition of what we like to call the Clash of Champions, where we dive headfirst into all the storylines, controversies, personalities, and everything in between that center around this world we know and love as professional wrestling. For better or worse, I am your host, the vegan you believe in, Conscious Kurt, aka Kurt GPT, in the flesh as always. And my co-host needs no introduction, but the hell with it. He's gonna give y'all one anyway.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This is tag team partner Jonathan Randall, the Adventure himself. And boy, do we had a full course menu of wrestling last weekend, and it delivered. Really delivered
Yeah,
on a point. There was so much writing, a little bit bittersweet at the same time, though, but we'll get to it. But man, so much full wrestling galore last weekend. And yeah, man. From AEW to NXT, the Saturday night's main event, and also ending with Evolution. Man, that was one hell of a weekend of wrestling.
yeah, I think I watched a good 10 to 11 hours of wrestling total
Ah,
between Saturday and Sunday.
wow. With Evolution, honestly, being the pretty much like the best event from that weekend, quite possibly the best PLE of this year.
Yeah, definitely an argument you could make to that. But first, I want to dive into AEW All In, which took place from Arlington, Texas, at Globe Life Field. And this was AEW's biggest attended show in North America, as it did 27,000 people. And visually, it looked great. I
They did.
love the fact that they did this at stadium in the States, because they did the last two at Wembley Stadium. But
Mhm.
yeah, it really looked great here. I can't say it was better than the last two All In shows that took place at Wembley, but it was still a good show nonetheless, and definitely a lot to take out of it.
Yeah, I was looking at the photos and the videos on social media and also throughout, and it looked visually, the presentation, it looked really great. It had that it's their biggest show of the year. You know what I mean? It's their
Yeah,
WrestleMania, so you have to make it big. So
yeah, and from the setting to the entrances to the matches, it really felt like that. It really felt like their WrestleMania. I'm going to break down some of the highlights of the show, which featured MJF winning the Casino Battle Royal to become the number one contender for the AEW Championship. It's kind
mm,
of like their version of Money in the Bank in a sense, but yes, now he has a shot at the title
Casino
anytime he
Royal,
wants.
Casino Battle Royal. That's an interesting name.
Yeah, that match was 34 minutes long, too.
Wow.
Yeah, the way that match works is like two guys start out, and every few minutes somebody else comes in, and if somebody gets the win first before all the other participants come out, then that person wins.
Hmm.
Yeah, weird
That's
concept,
that.
very
That's
weird concept, but
that's a little confusing though. That is weird. Huh?
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but MJF won that battle royal, so now he's going to be back in the title picture probably very soon, sooner than later. But also on All In, we had some sad news as Adam Cole, who was scheduled to defend his TNT Championship against Kyle Fletcher, had to be taken off the show due to some injury issues. They weren't
Mm.
really discussed too much, but Adam Cole did come out and he officially relinquished the title. And in many ways, kind of gave a retirement speech, although it wasn't officially one. But just the way he sounded from how he was describing everything, he doesn't know for sure if he'll ever be back.
The pretty much the unforeseeable future. That's crazy how we had an injury that night, and then pretty much we'll have another one. I felt like there was that week, this whole weekend of wrestling was like bittersweet though, but we'll get into later though. But yeah, that is very unfortunate to hear that. You're going to be put on a card. You have the intentions of wrestling, but then all of a sudden an injury happens. And I know stuff in professional wrestling happens though, but it is unfortunate.
Yeah, you really felt for the guy. Like he was very emotional throughout the speech. Even Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong were like waiting after the Casino Battle Royal, like, and watching his speech, and then they hugged him afterwards. Yeah, like it didn't look good from how he was describing it. It might
Wow.
be a concussion issue. It could be something else, but from just how it was described, it looks like he's going to be out for a hot minute,
Mm,
possibly for good.
damn. I always like Adam Cole, man. I had the pleasure of watching him perform in person when I attended Double or Nothing about 3 years ago. But yeah, he's always been a great wrestler, even when he was in NXT. So
Yeah, I saw him perform at an NXT house show back in 2018, actually at the Orleans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Adam Cole's great, man. It's just unfortunate that like he's kind of been plagued with injuries the last few years. I know he had a concussion issue a few years ago that almost ended his career for good. And then he had that ankle injury from a year and a half ago that kept him out up until recently. He even
Hmm.
missed last year's All In because of that injury. And then now this happened. So yeah, I really feel for the guy. He's really had a rough few years. I'm hoping, keeping my fingers crossed, that this is not the end for him, that he's eventually able to come back from this. But
Yeah.
if God forbid he's not able to come back from this. He had a great career that he has nothing to look back on, and I wish him the best.
Same here, man. Same.
Yeah, so as a result of Adam Cole forfeiting the AEW TNT Championship, he let the belt go, and it was put up in a four-way match to decide the new champion between Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara, Kyle Fletcher, and Danny Garcia.
Mm.
And since it was his home state, and since he's never actually won a title in AEW in the years he's been there, to my not so shocking surprise, I'm sorry, to something that wasn't too much of a shock to me, Dustin Rhodes ended up winning the match.
It was a history-making moment. I mean, everybody was talking about it and raving about it, and this was his first singles title in AEW. So,
First title in AEW, period. That technically he has the
yeah,
Ring of Honor tag team titles, but as far as AEW, he's been in the company since it started. He just re-signed with them recently, and now he wins his first championship in his home state.
yeah. It was a
Good
history-making
shit.
moment. Yeah.
Yeah, you could tell he was genuinely happy. He was
Hmm.
crying. He was very emotional. His nephews came out. His family came out to celebrate with him. Yeah, it was great. I mean, it sucks that, Adam Cole went down with the injury and that all happened, but I'm happy that Dustin Rhodes at least got to have a moment like this, especially at this stage in his career.
Oh yeah. Look, when one door opens, another one. No, when one door closes, another one opens, and this was that moment. And yeah, it was very unfortunate. Adam Cole got hurt, but hey, like I said, this whole weekend was bittersweet, and this was one of them where you had a sweet moment where Dustin Rhodes, um, pretty much wins in his hometown, his first singles title, pretty much his first ever title in AEW since he's been in with the company. And yeah, this is a great moment for him and well deserved.
Yeah, I even remember Dustin Rhodes from like when I first started watching WCW in '94, and this dude is still doing his
Going.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
still
after all these
going.
years, he's still. Yeah, a lot of the people from his era either retired or unfortunately they passed away. But yo, he's still going strong and he's still putting on good performances. More
How old
power
is
to
he
him.
now?
He's got to be in his 50s, like somewhere in his 50s.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I would say maybe late 50s, give or take, if I had
Mm.
to, yeah, take a guess. But in any event, Dustin Rhodes is your new TNT World Champion. And in our next match, this is one of my favorite matches on the whole show. We had the Young Bucks against Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay. And yo, Will Ospreay had one badass entrance. If you saw like highlights of it online, holy
Ah,
shit!
I was hearing
He
some
came
good
up through
things.
the
No, go ahead.
he came up through like the stage, like kind of like how Rey Mysterio used to do. Yo, it was a crazy vibe, and he had these like Mortal Kombat type dudes like doing this kind of thing before he came out. It was really cool, and also we saw the appearance of JoJo. JoJo, the widow of Bray Wyatt, also former WWE ring announcer. She
Wow.
actually sang Shaka Khan's "Can't Nobody Love Me Better" right before Swerve Strickland came out.
Really? Oh, that's interesting. That's
Yeah, I
funny.
was wondering. Yeah, I was wondering why she sang that song. And like, I mean, it was good and all. She had a good performance, but I was like wondering why is she singing this song? And then I came to find out later that Swerve Strickland actually used to come out to that song when he was on the Indies.
Oh, okay, interesting. It's funny how you mentioned Mortal Kombat earlier because today the trailer for Mortal Kombat 2 just dropped,
Oh shoot, I gotta
which
check that out. I actually,
it's pretty. It looks pretty good. We will be in the theaters this October though, but it actually looks really good and looks somewhat better than the first one. So I'm looking forward to that. So yeah,
yeah, I actually just saw Superman yesterday too.
I was about to ask you that. How was it? Do you like it?
It was good. I wouldn't call it great. I wouldn't call it the best like comic book movie I've seen ever, but it was good. I'll say that much. It was good.
It's worth seeing.
Yeah, it's the most I ever spent paying for a damn movie ticket with it being IMAX 3D, but it was good.
Oh, oh my god.
But I'll say this much. But I'll say this much as far as like the whole woke argument that was going on surrounding it. If
Yeah.
you watch that movie and you take the side of Lex Luthor, you really need to revamp like some of your morals and some of your ways of thinking at things and looking at the world.
That is interesting. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna take that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna take that into consideration. Yeah.
yeah, because like people were talking about how it's too woke, it's too liberal, it's pushing an agenda, all that jazz. But I just like watched the movie for myself, and I can maybe see why some people would maybe come up with that. But at the same time, like just watch that movie. If you watch that movie from start to finish, and then you take the side of like the villains and take the side of Lex Luthor, yeah, you need to check yourself.
Wow.
All right, but that's another story. But yeah, the Young Bucks came out, and the Young Bucks came out sailing to the ring like on a sailboat, like Christopher Columbus or some shit. And
Huh.
Justin Roberts read this like big long sheet, like talking about them on the way to the ring. That shit took forever.
Wow.
Yeah, but with that aside, yo, this was one badass match. It went over 25 minutes. There was even one point where Will accidentally hit Swerve, and you almost thought that was going to cost them the match, but they rebounded from that, and they actually hit the Young Bucks with their own finisher to finish them off, get the win, and now the Young Bucks are no longer EVPs of AEW.
Mm. You know, of all the things I was hearing about this match, I was pretty much hearing like there was like a lot of no sells in that match, especially the spot where they did no the Mexican Destroyer did not sell.
Yeah, they do that a lot in AEW matches, admittedly.
Yeah, we see stuff like that, but when it came to that spot, especially to a move like that, and sell, it goes to show you why AEW gets a lot of slack for that. So
Yeah, it is what it is, though. But
yeah.
Swerve and Osprey picked up the win. It was a great match, great outcome. And also throughout the show, we had Athena. We had Athena, the Ring of Honor Women's Champion, the longest reigning champion in Ring of Honor history, winning the Women's Casino Royal Battle Royal. So she's now going to get a shot at the AEW Women's Championship. And Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, the Hurt Business, Hurt Syndicate, my bad. They had a great entrance actually before they came out for their match. We hurt people. We hurt people. The dudes who do that theme song actually performed them to the ring along with MVP and MJF. Yeah, it was a dope entrance. And they ultimately retained the AEW Tag Team Championships after Nick Wayne turned on Christian Cage. And then after the match, Nick Wayne was about to hit Christian Cage with the concerto. And the FDR was actually in the ring, like about to kind of like watch him do it. And then Adam Copeland showed up, made his return for the first time in a few months, and cleared the ring of all of them. And then he helped up Christian Cage and kind of a throwback to like what Christian Cage said to Adam Copeland the first time they met in AEW about a year and a half ago. Copeland told Christian, instead of go fuck yourself, go find yourself before he left the ring.
Deep. Go find yourself is a deep thing to say.
Yeah, so this is probably leading to Adam and Christian getting back together and teaming up to take on FTR possibly at AEW All Out, which is apparently going to take place in Toronto.
Oh, okay.
I mean, perfect sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now they're back together. And then the show was almost 4 hours in by this point, and by 4 hours, we were finally at the main events.
Oh, I was hearing a lot of things about that, how long that event was.
Yeah, put it this way. Put it this way. I started watching it like around like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday, like after I got off work. And then it was almost like 10 o'clock at night, and I hadn't gotten to the the main events yet. And I had to go
you,
out, and so I couldn't finish watching it until the
you
next day.
gotta be kidding me. You see what I'm talking
Yeah.
about? Is this the what the late 2010s version of WrestleMania of how long
Yeah,
those
that's the
events
best way I
were.
could describe it.
Literally.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was still a good show. There was still a lot of good shit on it, but
Just
yeah,
too
that
long.
length was very noticeable.
And
But
especially that you had to go out too. You kind of just like you're kind of, you know, leveling it up here. You're kind of like, well, damn, I want to go out, but it's like how long this event's gonna last,
nah, I still went out. Yeah, I still went out. I was like, yo, I
I
could just watch the
know.
rest of this tomorrow. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
But it's just you're kind of like it's just it's a bit annoying in a way though, because you're like you want to go out, you're about to go out, and you're kind of like keeping up with this event, and you're like, well, damn, this would have been over like a while ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like, yo, it's 4 hours in, and like, yeah, there's still like three matches left, and three
Yeah.
main matches at that. But in any event, we had one of those main matches being the AEW Women's Championship match between Timeless Tony Storm and Mercedes Moné, Mercedes Omega, Hogan, whichever you prefer.
Uh,
She had a cool entrance. She had like the Texas Rangers, like cheerleaders come out and like do a cheer for her, and she came out like in a Cadillac. Yeah, it was a dope entrance, I can't lie. And then Tony Storm came out, got a great reaction. And yeah, this is a good ass match. This match definitely lived up to the hype it had surrounding it.
should have. I mean, those two caliber wrestlers in the ring, you gotta show out and put on a great match, and I believed it.
Yeah, it was great. Even Tony Storm hit Mercedes with the Storm Zero three times in a row, her finisher, and Mercedes kicked out.
Ooh.
And Mercedes put up a fight. Mercedes definitely put in her all in this match, but ultimately she fell to a Storm Zero from the top rope, which is basically a pile driver from the top rope. And that was enough for Tony Storm to pick up the win, retain her title, and hand Mercedes Moné her very first loss in AEW.
Hey, I told you it had to happen. I mean, you can't have
Like
all
I
the gold.
predicted.
Yeah, we both predicted it. We both predicted it. And look, you can't have all the gold, man. And it was something that needed to happen. She needed that taste of humble pie, and she did. So hey,
Yeah, she loses nothing by losing this match. It was a big
no.
match with a lot of hype going into it. The match delivered. The match was great. And yeah, it's one loss. And she already has 5 other titles still anyway.
Right. Told you the Thanos of AEW.
This is like those billionaires. These are like those damn billionaires who have all the money, who have all the yachts, but they'll take away like people who are less fortunate, like their benefits and like things they need just so they can buy another yacht.
How many more yachts do you need?
Sick shit. But yes, I'm very happy with this outcome. I'm
Yeah.
happy that Tony Storm retained. And yeah, Mercedes finally got her first loss and her ass finally got humbled. Because I said it even on last week's show, like her character on TV is just too unlikable to root for.
I mean, she's a heel. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, I give her that. I give her that. She was
Right.
a great.
Like if she's doing something to piss you off about her character, then she's doing her job.
Yeah, like I don't know if that's how she really is in real life and whatnot, but just
Oh,
as far as
probably.
it's possible, but as far as what I see on the show, as far as what I see on TV, I'm like, yo, I hope this girl gets her ass kicked.
Probably. I've been hearing some stuff about how like she's, kind of not, eh.
Not fan friendly.
Yeah, in persons, So I've heard.
Yeah, I've heard that too, but regardless of those personal feelings or what she's like in real life, you have to give credit where it's due when it comes to match quality and being a star and all that good stuff. And yeah, she does deliver in those fields. Same
Mm,
with Nicki Minaj, as we talked about before the show started. I mean, even if you don't like somebody's behavior, their personal antics, you can't deny their talent at the end of the day.
I mean, yeah, you don't have to, listen to their, whatever though. I mean, regardless if
No, I'm
they're
not saying you
talented or
have to
not.
listen to their music. I'm just saying you can't deny how talented they are,
Oh yeah,
even if you
right,
don't like some of the things they do. Even if you
right.
don't like some of the things they do.
Mm.
All right, but anyway, Timeless Tony Storm retains her title, and then we had a title unification match between Kenny Omega and Okada. And while this was a good match, it did feel kind of long, especially at this point in the show. And from
How
what
long this
everybody
match?
said, it was roughly about 30 minutes, maybe a little bit less.
Eesh. Jeez. So you were at like the 4 hour mark, right? You had Mercedes Moné and Tony Storm, and then you had this one went 30 minutes. And then you had the main event, which I'm assuming went another 30 minutes, right? Plus.
Yeah, and
So
Okada ended up beating Kenny Omega to become the unified champion. And it's funny enough, this is their first match ever on American soil, and from what people said, this is their weakest match they've ever had together.
really.
It's kind of like the AJ Styles and Nakamura match from WrestleMania 34, where there was like so much hype going into it because of their match in Japan. But then the match itself at WrestleMania, it was fine, but it wasn't as good as you kind of expected it to be.
I think this is a common thing in wrestling sometimes, not just with AEW though, but just in professional wrestling in general, where I've seen over the years where certain wrestlers will have a match on pay-per-view or whatever, and it just didn't turn out to be great. But when they wrestle each other at a house show, they put on just a 5-star performance.
Yeah, I didn't see any of their matches in Japan, but their match here I said was good, but I didn't think it was as good as some of the other matches on the card. But ultimately, it was still good for what it was. So now the international and continental championships are both unified under Okada, and now
Hmm.
he holds both belts. And the match did go 30 minutes. Yes, it did. It went 30 minutes.
Yeah, so that and then plus the main event, which I'm assuming went what another 30 plus minutes. So overall, it feels like the show probably went like 5.5 or close to 6 hours, right?
Just about, yeah, just about 6 hours.
Sheesh.
It was going on. It was still going on as Saturday night's main event started.
Oh my god.
So All In not
Woo.
only lasted longer than Great American Bash, it lasted a good chunk of how long Saturday night's main event lasted.
So it pretty much like lasted like half of a
Crazy.
Saturday.
Yeah, shit took up most of my day and my next day too.
And you got stuff to do.
Yeah, it was madness. But speaking of the main event did go 35 minutes, and that main event was for the AEW World Championship, a title belt we had not seen since October of last year, where
Held
John
hostage.
Moxley, yeah, big time. John Moxley defended his title against Hangman Adam Page, who came out to his old theme music, which I really
I
like to see.
heard, yeah. I heard about that. He came out to his old theme song.
Yeah, I forgot to mention last week this match was actually a Texas death match.
Oh,
No
yeah.
surprise considering it's John Moxley. And
Mm.
yeah, it's to no surprise this match was very bloody, very violent. There was one point where Hangman Adam Page stabbed John Moxley in the head with a fork, and they brought like
Yeah.
broken yeah, they brought like broken glass into the match, and then John Moxley pile drove Hangman onto the broken glass. Yeah, this whole thing was madness and sick as fuck.
Dude, he literally had him in a triangle chokehold, right? And then Adam Page literally had that fork and he kept stabbing at John Moxley's head, dude, just multiple times. That was just crazy, dude.
Yeah, and just like I expected, this match should have a lot of crazy shenanigans and interference, including from the Death Riders, also the Young Bucks. Also, Will Ospreay came out, but unfortunately, he was stomped with a chair wrapped around his neck by Claudio Castagnoli, and that took him out. He had to be taken out on a stretcher. The same thing happened to Samoa Joe earlier in the show, and he was also taken out on a stretcher.
Wow.
Yeah, so that happened, and then Brian Danielson actually came out. He came out in a mask, and yeah, he helped out Hangman Adam Page. He cleared out the Young Bucks and the rest of the Death Riders. He helped out with that part. And also, Darby Allin, fresh off of climbing Mount Everest, came from the ceiling, just like Sting used to do, and also came out to back up Hangman Adam Page.
Wow.
But the ace in the hole, the real ace in the hole, was Hangman Adam Page's old nemesis, Swerve Strickland. And the two of them had a very interesting discussion backstage on Collision last week, where Adam Page handed Swerve like a chain, like a long ass chain, and then Swerve came out with that same chain and handed it to Hangman Adam Page, and he used that chain to choke out John Moxley from the top rope, and John Moxley was like struggling, holding on for dear life. Yeah, he really sold the shit out of this to the point where he had no other choice, no other alternative but to tap out. And Hangman Adam Page wins the AEW World Championship for the second time.
And what a moment it was to be there to do it at that event in the stadium like that. And yeah, pretty much John Moxley's reign of terror is over, where he had held that title hostage, not showing it off to the fans for such a long time. Finally, Hangman Adam Page reveals the belt to the whole entire crowd, and yeah, it was a great moment.
Great moment, one of the highlights of the whole show, possibly the highlight of the whole show. Just when you
Mm-hmm.
see him crying after the match is over, and then he takes the belt out of the briefcase, and then you see him like hold it and like show it to the world for the first time since last October. It's crazy. It still has Bryan Danielson's name on the belt.
Wow.
That's how long it hasn't been seen. And yeah, the show closed with him holding up the title, very emotional, fireworks. And yeah, Swerve just like smiled after the match was over at Hangman. But you know, even though we helped them out, they're probably going to cross paths again sooner or later.
True. They've been like they've been making a lot of memes of that photo of Swerve Strickland looking back outside of the ring.
Yeah, but this match ended exactly the way it needed to. Like, say what you want about the death match itself. I know those kind of matches aren't for everybody, but the match itself and the outcome, it played out exactly the way it should.
Mm.
So yes, AEW All In was a success. It was a good show, maybe too damn long for everybody's taste, mine
Yeah.
included, but the show still delivered in the end, and that's what counts. So that night, we also had an edition of Saturday Night's Main Event taking place from my old neck of the woods of Atlanta, Georgia. And this show featured a match between Randy Orton with Jelly Roll in his corner against Drew McIntyre with the douchebag fuck Logan Paul in his
Your
corner.
mortal enemy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, just like Lex Luthor, if you go through life and like you see the antics of Logan Paul, you still take his side and still support him. Yeah, you need to check some of your moral values. But that's another story. So yes, we had the match, and then Randy Orton ended up winning with the RKO. But then after the match, Logan Paul attacked Randy Orton, and Jelly Roll knocked down Logan Paul. But as he was trying to help Randy Orton up and check on him, Drew McIntyre laid him out with a Claymore kick.
I saw that. That was just
Damn.
I know.
Yeah. I guess Drew McIntyre doesn't like country music
Right.
because he likes hip hop.
Right. You know
All
it's
right, so
funny.
then go
You know
ahead.
it's funny with the involvement of Jelly Roll, which we'll get more into it, later on. My girlfriend's cousin, because my girlfriend likes country, and so is her cousin and her wife, and um they kind of like took notice of Jelly Roll involvement, and they're kind of considering. She asked her, I was like, should we watch this because of Jelly Roll? And I was saying to myself, like why they do stuff like this. And my girlfriend Samantha was asking me, why do they do stuff like that? What was the whole point of it? And I, told her, I was like, well, it's all it is just a way to get, publicity as a company in order to way to get attention and get more like newer fans, because they've been doing that for years, even before we were born, where you'll get a celebrity involved in wrestling where you're going to get attention from fans of that celebrity who are not fans of wrestling. They're going to be interested and want to watch your product. That's the whole point of it.
Yeah, definitely. And what happened later that night, it was revealed that at SummerSlam, it's going to be a tag team match with Drew
Mm-hmm.
McIntyre and Paul taking on Randy Orton and Jelly Roll. And yo, props to Jelly Roll. He lost like over 100 pounds apparently.
That's good. I'm happy for him. I kind of do feel bad a little bit for Drew McIntyre. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I get it that he's involved with, he's with Randy Orton, the top, a legend that he is, though. But it's kind of weird that he's involved in this storyline a little bit, because you go back to last year, he was in that awesome, amazing feud with CM Punk, and now you fast forward a year later, now it's this. You kind of were hoping that, expecting better things for him.
Yeah, I understand. It's kind of a weird match for him to be in, like a celebrity match, but
Yeah.
it's still a big attraction for SummerSlam. Apparently, it was supposed to be Travis Scott originally in this spot. They were going to do like a tag match with him and Bad
Yeah.
Bunny, but I'm not really sad that he's not going to be on the show.
No, I was hearing that he's not a like he was like he was kind of getting trained though, but I was hearing that
Not
he's
making
not a fast
progress.
learner. Yeah, no progress. He's not a not a quick learner. And also, as for Bad Bunny, you got to remember Bad Bunny just started his residency tour in Puerto Rico. So, yeah, the chances of him being there were kind of like, no.
Yeah, and apparently Jelly Roll's been working at the Performance Center every day. He's been working with like
Good.
Undertaker. He's been working with like other legends to get in shape. Yeah, more power to him. So, in
Nice.
that sense, I look forward to seeing how the match turns out. But yeah, and also on Saturday night's main event, we had Solo Sikoa successfully defend his newly won United States title against his own brother Jimmy Uso. I gotta say, the United States title looks nice on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, he needs that belt, man. And I was happy for him. He deserved it. Yeah, the belt looks good on him.
Yeah, so that happened, and then an unfortunate incident that took place on the show. We had a match between Seth Rollins and LA Knight, and as Seth Rollins was doing a moonsault from the ropes, he was kind of gonna do like a springboard moonsault, but as he landed awkwardly on his knee, and then you could see him like clutching it to the point where he had to sit in the corner, and the referee had to check on him, and the referee Jessica Carr even had to tell LA Knight to get back, and like Seth Rollins was also being checked on by Paul Heyman. You could see like there was like a very concerned look on the faces of all of them. And then the
Yeah.
match ultimately ended randomly with LA Knight laying out Rollins with a blunt force trauma for the win. And there was footage of Seth Rollins like getting helped out afterwards that kind of came out online. And you could definitely tell he was frustrated and he knew that he was hurt legit.
This was not good. This was the one that just broke me down because of where he is at right now. He is, well, he still is, but he has the money in the bank contract, and this happens. Man, I've kind of lost count of how many times he's been hurt now. This is what, the fourth or fifth time now? Let's go back.
And the last year he's been hurt like twice, because I remember after WrestleMania last year he was out with a knee injury for a while, then he came back and apparently he rushed his return, so he got like taken out by Bronson Reed with all those tsunamis and he was out for
Uh,
longer,
yeah,
and now he's out with this injury. And
man.
yeah, it sucks, man. He's like the top heel on Raw. He's like the leader of the top heel faction on Raw. He was
Yeah,
probably going to be in a major match at SummerSlam, probably major plans over the next few months.
yeah.
And like the way it's looking now, although there's been no announcement of how long this is going to be out for,
They
it does
said
not
four to
look.
5 months.
Well, he was on that show yesterday. He did that show yesterday where he talked about
Rich
how he's
Eisen
getting it
show.
checked out. Yeah, he was going on
Yeah.
that show talking about how he went to get his knee checked out in Alabama on Monday, but it was too swollen to get like a full diagnosis. So they're going to check it out again soon to see exactly what the problem is. But he just said it doesn't look like he's going to be around for a while. He said it's like likely he's going to be out for a significant amount of time.
Dang, let's just hope if the rumors were true, that what I heard the first time the other day, 4 to 5 months, that means at the end of the year, which means he will be back in time for the Royal Rumble, leading up to WrestleMania. But if it's longer, oh man, this is not good.
And some people have even been saying that this might be maybe a work or maybe like just something they're playing up for him to possibly cash in the money in the bank where like nobody
Mm,
sees it coming. Because
mm,
there was apparently some story a few days ago that there was going to be an angle like this taking place during the match, like what we saw with Rollins being hurt. And then it was funny that Paul Heyman said that how long Rollins is going to be out for is irrelevant because he has a year to cash in the briefcase. So that was
yeah,
kind of a tease to something a little bit. That was kind of like weird that he would say that. But from all accounts, just the way it looked and the way it played out, it looked real. Like I can't find any reason to think that it was not real.
and look, in Seth Rollins, as great as he is, he has a resume, a track record of getting hurt. You go back to 10 years ago, leading up to Survivor Series, where he was the current champion. He was supposed to have a match against Roman Reigns, but what happened? He gets injured during the house show. He gets hurt in 2017, like during his feud with Triple H. I was actually surprised that he still made it to WrestleMania that year.
Yeah, me too. I was.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, he's going to miss it. But by the grace of the wrestling gods, he was able to make it. Then when he got hurt again, was it 20? Was it, not 2018. Was
I
it 20, was it
I
2019 or
think
something like that?
no. The
No.
last time he actually that 2017 injury was like the last significant injury he had that kept him out for like a significant amount of time up until the injury last year.
Then I remember like saw a highlight of he had a match against Jinder Mahal and he did that same springboard moonsault and he
That
got
was last
hurt
year. That was last
last
year.
year. Okay. Oh, that was last year, right? So this
Yeah.
is what
So
the third time then, yeah,
well, fourth.
fourth. Wow.
But yeah, this is what it's been happening like a lot, like in the last year or so. So that's what really
Yeah.
makes it shitty, and just the timing of it really makes it shitty. Like right before
Yeah.
SummerSlam, first like Liv Morgan gets hurt. Now this happens. Yeah, like this is really throwing a monkey wrench into a lot of plans.
Yep. Hmm.
But yeah, I'm hoping that he gets back on his feet soon. I'm wishing him a speedy recovery. And yeah, this really sucks that this had to happen like now of all times, right now.
Mm-hmm. Just bad
But
timing.
very bad timing. But in the main
Yeah.
events of Saturday night's main event, we had for the World Heavyweight Championship, Gunther defending his title against Goldberg in his retirement match
In his hometown.
in his hometown of Atlanta, Georgia. And I like how they got the old security guard from WCW to come out with him to do his entrance.
Yeah, that was good.
Also, his son was with him, like all of it.
Yeah.
Ernest Miller was there too. Ernest the Cat
Oh
Miller
yeah,
was
saw
also
that too. I
there.
was like, is that Ernest the Cat Miller? I was like, I know that dude. It was great seeing him.
Yeah, and believe it or not, this was Goldberg's longest match since his match with Triple H at Unforgiven 2003.
Went over 10 minutes. Yes.
Yeah, it was 14 minutes, but I have to say, he looked fine. I have to be honest. Like, people were saying that this match was going to suck. This match should have been short, but I'll be honest, in the time that it lasted, Goldberg looked fine. I didn't think he embarrassed himself. I didn't think he looked like out of place. I think he delivered and did what he needed to do. And also give a big shout out to Gunther for the role he played in making this match as good as it was, too.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, look, we knew what was going to happen. We picked Gunther to win. There was no way in the world that Gunther was going to drop the title to Goldberg just because his retirement match, you know. But yeah, Gunther gets the win, and then Goldberg has a heartfelt speech with the fans, but NBC cuts off pretty much the majority of his speech.
Majority of it, they only played 30 seconds of it.
30 seconds. Yeah, I was like majority. Yeah.
So basically they played like 30 seconds of the speech and it went off the air. But
Yeah.
the entire speech was on WWE.com, which I
Yeah.
watched online a couple days later. It was a very good speech. He talked about, being a good person and treating others with respect and treating other people the way you want to be treated. And, he thanked his wife. He thanked everybody that was in the ring, all the people who helped him along the way. And then Cody Rhodes also came out and gave him a shout out at the end too. So that was cool. And yeah, like I said, I thought the match overall was fine. That point where Goldberg accidentally speared Charles Robertson was crazy. That's like the second time in less than a month.
Poor
Charles
Robinson.
Robertson gets roughed up like that.
Jeez, first John Cena, now this. Of all people, you get roughed up by Goldberg. Oh my God. Woo.
It actually reminded me of the time where Goldberg accidentally speared him in 2003 during that feud with Jericho, when Jericho put him in the way.
Yeah. On purpose.
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember that. Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah. I don't actually remember a lot of Goldberg's 2003 run, but that was a cool highlight for me.
Yeah, anyway, though, his speech got cut off, and we know who did it. His enemy, his mortal enemy, Bret Hart, your goat, was the one who cut
shit.
Yeah.
Bret Hart was going off on Goldberg. I think he said something in an interview recently where it's a good thing Goldberg's retiring because you're just not safe when you're in the ring with them. The referee's not safe. The other performer's not safe. Even the person serving popcorn has to watch themselves when Goldberg's in a match. That's fucked up.
Wow. Tough words, man.
What about the cotton candy guy?
Anybody in the concession stand, there's anybody, even the people who are in the stands selling the food, and yeah, you just got to be careful, man.
Yeah, and Goldberg apparently went off. Actually, no, Goldberg did go off about this in an interview a few days later, where he talked about how he was disappointed with the way his retirement match came out. And he was kind of disappointed that, it was put on Saturday night's main event as opposed to an actual PLE. And he didn't blame WWE directly for them cutting off his speech, after just 30 seconds. But he did say overall, he was not happy with how everything turned out.
Look, for him to say that, and I heard an interview from somebody who was talking about that, he should not be complaining.
Oh, Peter Rosenberg. Peter Rosenberg went off about this yesterday.
Yeah, and what he said was on point, and he was speaking facts. You at your age where you cannot wrestle at a high level, Gunther pretty much carried you in that match. He was being a ring general. That's why he's called ring general, and he led that match as he was supposed to. Also, the match lasted pretty long than your usual rate. So you should be thankful for that. Also, you should be thankful for the fact that in the position that you're in a world title match in your hometown in your farewell match. Also, you were able to have a farewell speech. So I don't know why you're complaining that you sucked how the way things went. I don't understand the logic of what he said.
I can understand him being upset about the speech being cut, which wasn't WWE's fault. And maybe they
Yeah,
could have structured it. Maybe they could have structured the show a little bit where he would have had some time to speak, like while the show was still on the air.
yeah,
But yo, they gave him a retirement match in his hometown, a world heavyweight title match against one of the top guys in the company.
yeah.
And yeah, I granted it's not a PLE, but yo, they gave him a lot. They really did give him a lot for his retirement match. And yeah, it's kind of odd that he's still, not pleased with how it came out.
And it wasn't like the match wasn't even close to short. They gave you a very decent long match, the longest you've ever been in. So I don't know why you're complaining. And then also, as far as the speech being cut down, you got to remember he's on NBC. No, I'm sorry, this is on NBC. Like they do not play around. When that whatever show ends on that time slot, it ends and they cut it off and they move on to the next. It's NBC for goodness sakes. This is not USA Network or freaking, sci-fi or
Or
whatever.
Netflix.
Yeah. It's NBC for goodness sakes. It's the name speaks for itself. It's like one of the most popular channels in this country for goodness sakes. You know what I mean? So yeah, they don't play around.
Yeah, it's just strange because yeah, he had those people in the ring with him. He gave that nice speech at the end,
Yeah, your
and
whole family.
he's still mad.
Yeah, you're saying like you didn't like how the way you went out, like bro, like they literally just that's a lot to give you, and then you got to remember, not a lot of they don't usually do that for most wrestlers. You know what I mean? That's a given.
Yeah, I know he was upset for the last few years because Vince McMahon never gave him the proper retirement match that he wanted, but he finally got it here. And
Yeah.
granted, it could have been on a PLE, but whatever. It was still on a Saturday night's main event special in his hometown in a main event match. And yeah, the dude's still finding reasons to be upset about it. It
Oh,
Yeah, he said he's going to go into more detail about it in 2 weeks when he's allowed to,
in
which I
two
look forward to
weeks.
hearing. Yeah, he said something about that, about how like in 2 weeks he'll be able to go into more detail about this. But yeah, just the way he's coming off here, yeah, it's kind of a letdown. I'm not gonna
I
lie.
don't care what his excuse is. The fact that you're complaining about, like, come on, be more grateful, man. Come on. Championship match, hometown farewell match on Saturday night's main event, NBC. And you should be thanking Gunther a lot because pretty much Gunther was kind of like leading the way and just, you know, taking the lead and longer than your usual matches, and you're complaining. They're just not cool.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of some of those like entitled ungrateful girlfriends where if you do like 10 different things for them, they'll complain about the one thing you didn't do.
Nitpicking.
Yeah, exactly, nitpicking.
Yeah.
Nah, I still got love for Goldberg. It's nothing to that degree, but I am disappointed that he came out with these comments like after he got so much from this retirement that most other wrestlers don't get.
Yeah. I've
And he was
never
given
heard.
so much, and also
Yeah.
he was given so much through wrestling, like without like being very experienced and whatnot, and like became one of the biggest stars in such a little amount of time. He was given so much from wrestling, and yeah, he still has these reasons to complain.
Not a lot of wrestlers are given that treatment. And I don't ever recall hearing certain wrestlers, not just the men, but the women also. I never heard them complain that how their farewell, whatever, how it went. Come on.
Yeah, but what are you gonna do? So that was Saturday night's
Man.
main event. It was another glorified house show, other than the Goldberg Gunther match. There wasn't really anything as far as like match wise that was like, something you need to go out of your way to watch. But overall, yeah, it was fine for what it was. But sadly, besides the Goldberg match, the main thing that we talked about from this show was the Seth Rollins injury.
Yeah, I told you that was the like this the bittersweet part of it. I mean, there's this, you know, AEW is going through injuries, and now this happens. You just unexpected, completely unexpected what happened.
Yeah, very sad. But what was
Yeah,
not sad was what we got the next day as Sunday night, also from my old neck of the woods in Atlanta, Georgia, in the State Farm Arena. We had WWE's second ever all women show, Evolution,
and
going head to
boy,
head. Yes, and despite going head to head with Beyonce's Cowboy Carter concert right next door at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, they still put on a good ass show that everybody in that audience was into from start to finish.
yeah, and boy delivered. And look, it's funny how we talked about like, man, I don't know if they're gonna have enough fans over there, and this that, and but the fact that I don't know, man. I just this event delivered, and to the point where a lot of people are speculating that this is the best PLE this year, and moving forward, they should probably have, they should make Evolution a yearly event, and I agree.
Yeah, this was by far the best PLE of the year, and probably the best, and definitely the best PLE since Elimination Chamber. Yeah, just
Mm,
everything on the show was good or great, and the crowd, even if the crowd wasn't over 10,000 and whatnot, apparently it was 8,500, but the crowd was into everything from start to finish. They cheered for everyone, they reacted to everyone, they reacted to everything. Yeah, this crowd was incredible.
yeah, very
I
incredible.
gotta
Just from
say.
start to finish, just the match was just amazing from start to finish. You start off with the triple threat for the women's IC title between Becky Lynch, Lila Valkyra, and Bailey. That wow.
Yeah, great opening match. These women really pulled out all the stops. There was this one point where
Mhm.
Lyra hit a fisherman suplex on the Becky, and then Bailey hit her with a top rope elbow drop, like right in her gut. Ooh.
Yeah, man.
And then Lyra hit Becky and Bailey on the back of the head with a leg drop at one point when they were like tied up with each other. But this match was like very all over the place. It could have really gone either way, but like I predicted, like many people predicted, Becky came out with the win as Bailey hit Lyra with the rose plant. But right as she was like tied up with Lyra, Becky got Bailey trapped in a backslide, and that's how she got the pin and retained her championship. And incredible opening match, incredible triple
Yeah.
threat.
Hmm.
Yeah, so we had that, and moving on to the second match for the NXT Women's Championship, we had JC Jane defending the title against Jordan Grace.
Oh, this one right here, just like what what just happened in this match, man? It was just Jordan. Man, you felt like the odds were stacked against JC Jane in this match.
Yeah, and Blake Monroe was in Jordan Grace's corner after they
Yeah.
had that little girl spa day a few days prior. And then there was one point where the referee was distracted, and Blake Monroe had the belt in her hand outside the ring, and then Jordan Grace went off the ropes. And then, as I kind of predicted, Blake Monroe hit Jordan Grace with the title, and that allowed
Yeah.
JC Jane JC Jane to retain.
I saw that and I was like, whoa, what just happened here, man? Like, that was unexpected.
And then JC Jane like kind of handed the belt to I'm sorry, no, my bad. And then Blake Monroe handed the belt to kind of JC Jane in a way, but then walked away because it kind of maybe seemed like she was going to join forces with her. But from how she walked away, it looks like she's going to be doing her own thing, which is
Yeah.
fine with me.
Yeah. Respect.
Yeah, so now she's going to have a feud with Jordan Grace. I could see definitely being a good look. It could definitely be a few they get a lot out of while they're still in NXT. And yeah,
Yeah.
Blake Monroe coming off of that hot run she had in AEW is looking like she's going to be doing just as well in WWE. And in our third match for the women's tag team titles, we had the champions Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez defending against the Kabuki Warriors. Sol Ruka and Zarya, and the team of Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, who both got a great reaction when they came out.
Yeah, I saw that and I heard that throughout the night. They were getting a great reaction. I was like, "Oh, this is the first, though." But hey, this was I wouldn't say like not an odd pairing though, but just this, mainly you when you see Charlotte Flair in a tag team, that is something that's like not down her alley. She's always doing on a singles run, and it's just her, nobody else.
Yeah, this is the first time I've seen her get a reaction like this in a long time. It could be because of the team with Alexa Bliss is like bringing out like a new side of her character, and it's also like that Players Tribune article she was in a couple days ago that might have like gotten her more fan sympathy. But yeah, she got a great reaction, and it was nice. She had her 93-year-old grandma actually at the show. She showed a picture of her grandma in the audience like later on.
That was good.
Yeah, but this match was fun. It only lasted about 10 minutes, but this match was definitely like chaos, but fun chaos.
Yeah.
There was one point where Raquel Rodriguez power bombed Alexa Bliss over the top rope onto the Kabuki Warriors.
Wow.
And it's funny. I noticed Raquel Rodriguez like working more with like power moves and like working like more as like a big woman as opposed to like kind of the way she was working before, because Kevin Nash actually kind of criticized her in an interview recently talking about how like she doesn't work like a big woman, it doesn't like use enough power moves, and she even said herself that if Kevin Nash is criticizing me on these things then I should take that criticism seriously, and it looked like she's implementing it into her new style and it's working off well so far.
That's good.
And that ultimately led to her hitting Sol Ruka with the Tahana Bomb to get the win for her and Roxanne Perez, and they keep the tag team titles.
As we predicted, look, Raquel and Roxanne Perez needed to keep those titles. You need to build a chemistry between those two while Liv Morgan is gone.
Yeah, and the way they've been playing off of each other so far has been pretty good. Roxanne's been a great antagonist in the sense of like putting up that funeral picture for Liv and like constantly
Ah,
doing things to try to take Liv's place. Yeah, it's been mad funny. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how they play this out over the next few months until Liv gets back. And yes, keeping them with the titles was the smart move because they got to progress that story further.
exactly.
And in one of the marquee matches on the show, we had for the women's championship, Tiffany Stratton defending her women's title against Hall of Famer Trish Stratus.
Ooh, what do you thought about Trish Stratus' outfit? Loved it.
Trish Stratus always slays with those outfits. Always. Even at this
Yes.
stage, she's always slaying with her damn outfits.
But this was a very good match. I like this one.
It was good. I wouldn't call it great, but it was good. It was actually short. I think it might have been the shortest match in the show.
Ooh, okay. We're talking about like
Yeah,
eight
I was a little
minutes, seven
surprised.
minutes.
Even Trish Stratus said herself, like in interviews, like promoting Evolution, that she would have liked to have like been given more of a notice for this match and like given more time to prepare for it and build a story. But it is what it is. But yeah, despite those limitations, they made the most of it. The match was fine for what it was, and Tiffany Stratton ultimately hit the Alabama Slam onto Trish, followed by the world's prettiest moonsault to retain her title.
At one point when Trish Stratus did the Stratusfaction, you kind of like, oh my god, is this gonna do it? And that crowd felt it, but no. I remember when near fall on that
There's
one.
no way. There's no way she was winning this match. There was no way
Oh
in hell
no,
she
no,
was
no,
winning
of
this
course not.
match.
No, no.
And yo, Tiffany Stratton got her good with that moonsault. She got her like right in the face.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was gnarly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, after the match, Trish like jumped on the ropes and put her hand up and kind of like gave the poses to the audience before she walked out, kind of like maybe teasing that she might not wrestle again, but we all know she'll be back eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the match was fine for what it was. So Tiffany Stratton retains her title, and she will meet the woman that we're going to talk about in this next match, as we had Jade Cargill go one-on-one with Mrs. Money in the Bank, Naomi, with Bianca Belair added on Saturday night's main event the night before as a
As a
special guest
special guest
referee.
referee. What was this? I missed that. I was like, whoa. I see this one coming, but this made things very interesting because of the history between the three. I thought that was just the perfect pairing.
Yeah, it looked that way. Like, when they added her to the match, I had a feeling like some kind of angle was going to happen. And although the match was good, the match was definitely good for the time it lasted. It was a lot of the hardcore shit they did throughout it. It ultimately ended when Jade hit Naomi with a chair as she was setting her up on the top rope to put her through a table. And then Jade hit Naomi off the top rope with the Jade and threw the table down below
Loved it.
to win the match.
Love that spot. I absolutely love that spot. They literally delivered. Um, just whew, no words could describe how great that match was or that spot. But yeah.
Yeah, that was a great spot. There was one point where I think Naomi also like slammed Jade into like the side of the announce table and like it kind of exploded.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it looked kind of weird, but yeah, that ending to the match was dope. That pretty much puts an end to this feud for good because now that Jade's beaten her twice, I don't know what else they can do with the story beyond this. And you could tell that Jade was looking suspiciously at Bianca as Bianca raised her hand.
Mm,
Still doesn't trust her.
nope.
And I thought there was going to be maybe some kind of angle or some kind of scenario where like Bianca was going to cost one of them the match, or, like get involved in the ending. But clearly, from how this played out, Bianca was added into this match as the referee just to get her a part of the show.
It was a good, good choice to have her though, but it made things interesting because of the history between those three. So yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, like with her being the referee, you maybe kind of expected like something like with Seth Rollins when he was the referee for the McIntyre and Funk match
Oh,
last
right.
year.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
with all the history, you kind of expecting that maybe to build towards something for SummerSlam. But since it looks like apparently Bianca's still hurt and not cleared to wrestle, and the fact that she didn't get physical at all here, it's clear that yeah, she's probably not gonna be back just yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still a good match here nonetheless. Better than the match at WrestleMania. So Jade
Yeah.
is now headed to SummerSlam to face Tiffany Stratton for the title. And in our next match, we had the Women's Battle Royal to decide who will get a shot at the Women's Championship of their respective brand at Clash in Paris. And we had everybody in this match from Nia Jax, Nikki Bella, Stephanie Vacour, Lash Legend, Kalani
Mm-hmm.
Jordan, who had a great spot in this match where she kept herself from getting eliminated. She like landed on the announce table, then she like got on her hands, like walked on her hands to get back into the ring. Yo, that was great, son. That was great.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the battle royal came down to Nikki Bella, Lash Legend, Nia Jax, and Stephanie Vacour. And Lash Legend ended up eliminating Nikki Bella. Before that, Nia Jax ended up getting eliminated. So it was down to Lash Legend and Stephanie Vacour. And to Booker T's delight, especially, Vacour hit Lash Legend with the Devil's Kiss onto the apron to eliminate her and punch her ticket to Clash in Paris for a title shot.
Good for her. We both predicted it, and I'm so happy for her that she needed this moment. And hey man, her future looks very, very bright.
Yeah, I liked how Stephanie McMahon came out afterwards to congratulate her, and Stephanie McMahon actually spoke to her in Spanish. And
Yeah.
then Vacour said that English isn't her first language, but wrestling is her first
I
language.
love that quote from her. Loved it.
Me too.
Absolutely loved it. That was very deep. I loved it.
Yeah, so this is a good look for her. I predicted her to win last week and came out that way. And I look forward to seeing what she does in the coming months and see how much more she's elevated to that next level. Just like Lyra's been elevated, Tiffany Stratton, she definitely belongs in that mix too.
I agree.
Yes, so we're on to the main event of Evolution for the Women's World Championship. The first time this title would be defended since WrestleMania. We had Io Sky defending the title against Mommy herself, Rhea Bloody Ripley.
Quite possibly the best match of the night.
Yeah, best match of the night, possibly
I
arguably the best match of the whole weekend.
the spots that they were doing. I don't even know where to begin, Kurt. How about let's when the referee got knocked down? Io Sky was
Yeah,
on
when
the
Io
apron about to do a
accidentally,
springboard, drop kick to Rhea Ripley, but Rhea Ripley moves out of the way and then hits the referee. That is the first time where I actually saw a referee get knocked out in a women's match.
I
And
want to
then
say it's
from
happened before. It's not ringing a bell.
yeah, from there, you got to remember, referees knocked out. What do? They take it outside to the crowd. They're wrestling throughout the crowd. Io
Yeah,
Sky
poor.
does a splash. That was one of the highlights of that match. Like he does a splash outside of Rhea Ripley, and you're just like, oh my goodness, what more could they do?
Yeah, like they went into the crowd. They were fighting in the crowd, and Io literally jumped off a balcony and like did a crossbody to Rhea from the top of it. Holy shit!
Crazy.
And that landing looked rough too.
Oh, it did. Oh, there was no mat on the concrete. It was just plain concrete out there. So yeah,
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, that spot was crazy. And Rhea at one point had the match won, but the referee was down, so she couldn't do anything about it. And then they get back into the ring eventually, and then Io hits Rhea with the moonsault with the over the moonsault, but then Rhea ends up kicking out when the referee comes back too. And then you think at this point Rhea's gonna win. You think Rhea's gonna finish off Io, and then she attempts like a top rope riptide, but then Io fights out of it and hits her with like a not a Canadian destroyer. I'm sorry.
it was Tokyo stuff. Oh man, I know what you're talking about. Oh man,
They
I
both like flip from the top rope onto the mat. I keep forgetting what that move's called. It's not a.
yeah.
But anyway, yeah, they fall to the mat. They're both down, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Naomi's music hits.
Crowd went crazy when he came out, and you know why she was there. So she cashed in her Money in the Bank contract, which she did. And look, my advice to oh, this is a crazy moment.
Well, you didn't finish what the moment was.
Oh, sorry. I'm getting tired right now. Um, yeah, no, yeah, Naomi coming out, the crowd went crazy, and it's kind of sucks how like you have a match like that of that magnitude and just going back and forth with each other. Something so beautiful that'll happen between those two, and then this happens.
Yeah, and with that move I mentioned a few seconds ago was a Spanish fly. Yeah, Io and Rhea like were down on the mat from the Spanish fly. Then Naomi comes out, cashes in the
That's what it was
briefcase to make it
called.
a triple threat. Yeah, it makes it a triple threat match. And then Naomi hits Io with the briefcase. She throws Rhea into the post, knocking her outside of the ring. And then she hits a springboard moonsault onto Io to pin her and win the World Heavyweight Championship for the first time and win her first World Championship in 8 years.
And it was a moment that she needed, and because of you said before that her you know he's on the move of retiring, eventually though. But she needed this moment. It was good. But man, you have a damn good match between these two, so beautiful, and then this happens. It's kind of similar to Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar from WrestleMania 31.
Exact
Just a
same
mate,
scenario. Classic,
yeah.
yeah, classic match where like you're anticipating who's gonna win, and then all of a sudden the Money in the Bank winner comes out to ruin it.
Oh, oh,
Yeah, like you almost hate the fact that the cash in happened, but it was just such a well done cash in and such a
yeah.
great way to end that show on a cliffhanger that you can't really get mad at it.
Yeah, and look, this is why this event is one of probably the best PLE of the year. And look, moving forward, SummerSlam that you're going to be attending to, Kurt, they have a lot to fill in with what just happened.
That's one thing I was disappointed about was the fact that they like scheduled all these shows like so close to SummerSlam because now they have like such little time to build for SummerSlam and make it such a big deal the way it should be.
You know, it's one thing that disappointed me though. I'm a bit disappointed that that triple threat between Becky Lynch, Lyra Valkyria, and Bailey that match was at Evolution, but not at SummerSlam.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a few minutes, but yeah, this is a great moment for Naomi. This is by far the biggest moment of her career. Coincidentally enough, she's in the biggest run of her career, best run of her career, and got capped off by cashing in the Money in the Bank to win the championship at the end of Evolution, arguably the best show of the year. Yeah, this is something she could take with her for the rest of her life, and this is definitely like a huge,
Yeah,
gigantic career highlight for her. And I'm happy that she got this.
same here. And crazy, like she lose that in a losing effort against Jay Cargill, but turns around end of the night and she's the one who's on top. So good for her.
Yeah, it's crazy that yeah, you didn't see it coming because she was kind of teasing it with Tiffany Stratton for the last few weeks. So like you weren't
Yeah.
thinking that she was gonna cash in for Io's title, and lo and behold, she cashes in when you least expect it.
Yep.
Yeah, but good for her though, especially after like how her and Sasha left a couple years ago and how that all turned out. For her to come
Mm,
back, and she was kind of like still playing that same character that she did before she left, like for a while until this whole like Jade storyline started. And yeah, this
hmm
Jade storyline did wonders for her career. Like ever since that angle where her and Bianca had that like whole fight in the ring where they were when she like finally confessed to throwing Jade off of the platform and injuring her. Like ever
Yep.
since then, she's like really been like on a different trajectory, and it's really paid off well for her.
Definitely.
Yeah, so congratulations to her. Naomi is now the new women's world champion, and for the very first time ever, she opened one of the major shows of the week to cut a promo. That being
Yeah.
Raw. Yeah, and all the years she's been around, she's never once opened either show to do a promo.
No. Wow.
Yeah, but then she came out and then she like told the fans like, "Oh no, don't start cheering me now. You weren't feeling the glow, but I know you feel me now, but you don't get to experience this with me."
Hey, if you weren't with me in the beginning, you ain't gonna be with me now. I mean, come on.
Hell no. And yeah, she was telling all the women in the back to proceed with caution, her catchphrase and all that. And then Rhea comes out and tells her that you're on my list. And then Io comes out and says that, I deserve a rematch. And like just the way she says it, Naomi just responded and says, "I don't even understand what you just said."
She kind of got a little heat for that from what I heard from her saying that.
The audience seemed to like it. The audience
Yeah, I
responded
know
to
the
it, but
audience do, but I'm just, people on social media kind of took it the wrong way, saying how like, oh, like you like
she's
kind of
a
like
she's a
racist.
heel. She's supposed to say those things.
Yeah, I know. I'm not agreeing with them. I'm just saying, like, that's what
Yeah,
happened.
yeah. She's telling them to get to the back of the line, to the biggity back of the line, the biggity back, and then all three of them start arguing and bickering at each other until Adam Pearce comes out to interrupt, and he comes out to announce that Naomi will defend her newly won women's world title at SummerSlam against both Io and Rhea in a triple threat match.
Wow, crazy. We had a triple threat at WrestleMania. Just Bianca Belair was involved, but now it's gonna be the same thing, and it's her rival Naomi who's in it. That is crazy.
Yeah, crazy they're swapping places for this like same spot
Yeah,
they did at WrestleMania.
with the same
But
two people.
I was thinking he was gonna maybe do like an Io and Rhea rematch on night one, and then the winner faces Naomi for the title on night two. But this scenario also works too.
Yeah, no, I'm perfectly okay with what they're doing. This is the perfect scenario. That's like the only option you should do. Like you have two wrestlers that you know, like you said, you had a beautiful match, and then next thing you know, boom, Naomi out of nowhere cashes it in, and yeah, like this is the perfect scenario you have to do.
I saw a joke yesterday online saying that Naomi, like her new character now, reminds you of Pam from Martin.
Oh my god, that's funny.
I could see it a little bit.
I
I
can
could see it
see
just
it
a
too a
bit.
little now, and I can't get that out of my head now. Thanks a lot.
Shoot. Maybe her and Wade Barrett could go at it like Martin and Pam used to do.
Oh god.
Or her and Solo Sokoa.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, but yeah, I'm loving this new Naomi. I'm happy that she's the champion now. She's gonna be in a marquee match at SummerSlam. Yo, things are really looking up for her, bro.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm happy for it with this turnaround, her character and where she's at now. And yeah, I'm so happy for her.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing how that match turns out. I don't know if she'll end up winning and retaining the title in that match, but just from everything that's gone on lately, like that match, I feel like it's anybody's to win.
Oh no, I'm definitely seeing her retaining that title. Come on, she had a great moment cashing in. You literally just cash in, and you're the new women's champion. No, she's definitely retaining. That will be a little bit of an insult if she loses.
Yeah, but we'll see. These things have happened
Yeah.
before. I remember it happened to Edge back in 2006, but
Oh,
hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully, it doesn't happen in this case, but we'll see what
Oh,
happens. But I'm definitely amped for that match at SummerSlam. And also, another match I'm amped to see at SummerSlam is the match that was decided after the outcome of this one, as we had Bayley against Lyra Valkyria in a 2 out of 3 falls match to decide who Becky
great
Lynch is.
match.
Yes, great match. To decide who Becky Lynch's
Yes.
challenger for SummerSlam for the IC Women's title will be. And yeah, this match was very good, almost as good as the triple threat from the night before. But it
Mm-hmm.
ultimately ended when Lyra pushed out of the crippler crossface from Bayley and then reversed it into the Nightwing to get the win and punch her ticket to SummerSlam. And right after, Becky Lynch came out wearing yellow and red, which is funny as hell if you know the Becky Hogan comments people have been making
Oh
lately. And
God,
then
yeah.
and then she held the title up in front of Lyra as they stared each other down. But yeah, I kind of predicted them going back to this match eventually, even with Bayley involved in recent weeks. And I like it. I fucks with this. It would have been nice if they did another 3-way, but since they're doing a 3-way with the other 3 women for SummerSlam, it wouldn't make sense to do 2 of them. So I get why they went this route.
Come on, Jamie. Where's the justice for Bayley? I felt bad for Bayley. Damn. I wanted to see a triple threat. It was just going perfectly well, and just like it is what it is, though. But hey, Lila Raquel versus Becky Lynch. What, part 3?
Hey, that's a big match, and it's going to be at SummerSlam in a big stadium. Yeah, I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to it.
Okay. But I
With the
just feel
work they've
bad
been
for Bayley.
doing, I do too, but Becky and Lyra is still a big match. It's still a match I'm amped for. And yeah,
Yeah.
they've been having this feud for months that still hasn't been settled. So, yo, it's
Yeah.
perfect. But from this happening, I think I see Bayley turning heel soon.
Yeah, especially ever since she came back, and then her and Lila kind of like button heads with each other. I wouldn't be surprised if Bailey turns heel. So yeah.
I could see possibly Bayley being added as the guest referee for the match. And
Oh, I
then
never. Oh,
it's
mm.
possible it could go down that way. And then
Still
she
have her
turns on
involved.
Lyra. Yeah, and then she turns on Lyra sometime throughout the match or possibly after the match. Or she ends up feuding with Lyra after SummerSlam and they extend the feud beyond that.
Yeah. Either way, it could
Yeah,
happen though. But
yeah, because I feel like she's gotten as far as she can go as a babyface, like in this recent run. And yeah, I feel like a character change or something along those lines would benefit her more.
it's been a while since she's been a heel.
Only been a year and a half.
Hmm. Why does it feel like it's been longer than that? But
Yeah, because they were teasing a face turn with her, like with the whole damage control thing for a while until it eventually
that's
happened.
right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, but she hasn't been a heel like since the beginning of 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the role they were describing her in now is like kind of the female version of Sami Zayn.
Hmm.
Makes sense.
Hmm. Hmm.
But in any event, yeah, so we have Lyra and Becky at SummerSlam for the IC title. And then we also had a match between Nikki Bella and Chelsea Green that Nikki Bella won. And then Chelsea Green's Secret Hervis attacked Nikki after the match. But then Stephanie Vakora came out to her rescue because Vakora had a confrontation with Nikki. I'm sorry, not with Nikki, with Chelsea Green and her crew beforehand. So she came out to make the save and then she raised Nikki's hand afterwards. So I'm smelling maybe a 6-woman tag possibly in the next few weeks, possibly at SummerSlam too.
Okay.
And possibly maybe Bayley will be their partner or possibly somebody else.
I don't know about Bailey because like we'll see what's gonna happen the following week on Raw because like you're coming off
Yeah.
that bitter loss and yeah, I don't the transition from there to something else will be a bit weird. I do see the potential of her being like a special guest referee. I will not leave that out. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Nah, me either. That could definitely happen, but only time will tell. Also on Raw, we had that tag match with Roxanne and Raquel against the Kabuki Warriors that they picked up the win from. Can Thanks to interference from Dominic, who kept getting on the apron multiple times, and also Adam Pearce came up to Dominic and told him that he's going to have a reevaluation about his injury next week, and if he's cleared, he's going to be facing AJ for the title at SummerSlam. And AJ
Was
could be
AJ
seen.
praying?
Yeah, AJ was praying.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I always knew he was kind of religious to a degree, but damn, I didn't think he was going to actually do it on TV for a title shot.
I mean, come on, what could you do to get a title shot? I mean, he was supposed to have a match at Night of Champions, but Dominic couldn't perform because he was apparently injured. So yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
but Famali was jumping around during this match, interfering for Roxanne and Raquel. It looked like he really wasn't so injured after all.
no, this is similar to almost 20 years ago when Booker T was supposed to face Boogeyman at Saturday Night's main event, and he made pretty much made a story up saying how he was hurt, and Theodore Long caught onto it and said like there was nothing wrong with you. So yeah,
Or when Edge and Christian had to defend the titles against the Acolytes, like at Fully Loaded 2000, like in the weeks before, they kept coming up with different excuses about like why they couldn't do the match. And then the
yeah,
night of, they tried to come up with another excuse until Mick Foley caught them.
yeah.
That was funny as hell.
I
But it's
know.
crazy. This was the first time where the first 90 minutes of Raw featured all segments and matches strictly from the women.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was hearing about that. How like that pretty much like that first hour and a half was just dominated by the women. That was good.
Yeah, 3 women's matches, 1 women's segment. Yeah, the first 90
Yeah.
minutes of Raw was all that. And then the
Oh
main
yeah.
event of Raw, we had a gauntlet match to decide who will face Gunther for the World Heavyweight title at SummerSlam, which featured CM Punk, Braun Breaker, LA Knight, Jey Uso, and Penta.
Yes. Ooh. Look, I mean, I remember last week with your prediction about like, oh, like potential fatal four way. It was possible that could have happened, maybe, but because of Seth Rollins' injury, I think they had to pivot to this scenario, and I was excited for it and amped up for it, and it turned out to the way that it turned out to my liking.
Yes, and Braun Breaker, to no surprise, was the Iron Man in this match. He started
Oh
it
yeah,
and he first eliminated Penta, then LA Knight, then Jey Uso with interference from Bronson Reed until it finally came down to him and CM Punk. And Bronson Reed attempted to interfere in the match again, but then Jey Uso came out to counter him and get him out of the ring. So it was down to Punk and Breaker, and Breaker went for a spear. And so Punk kicked him as he went for it, then hit him up the GTS, laid him out with the GTS to get the win, punched his ticket to SummerSlam for a title shot against Gunther, and he pointed to Gunther, who was sitting in the um, skybox, or like the
Skybox.
luxury box after the match.
Two things. Number one, Gunther looked at one point looked bored. They've been making memes about that all day. The past few days. It's funny. Number two, there's a shot of CM Punk pointing to Gunther. Love that shot. I cannot wait for this match. Of all the matches that they have on the card, SummerSlam's card is looking really, really good. Better than last year's, in my humble opinion. But this match between CM Punk and Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship, I am so looking forward to this match, Kurt.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
very
a big
excited.
match. It's a big match. It's by far the biggest match that they can do.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to it too, but I'm just a little bummed that they only have like literally like 2.5 weeks to build for it.
Oh, yeah, that is true.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
for a match like that, you need more time for the build.
I think it will continue on in the feud though, so they could, build, a little more of a story between each other. But yes, I think between the world title matches, between this match and John Cena and Cody Rhodes, oh, I'm definitely putting this one over Cody Rhodes and John Cena, without a doubt.
Yeah, and Cody Rhodes and John Cena are only going to have like one face-to-face segment together, which is going to be tomorrow night on SmackDown.
One. Oh,
Yeah, it's so weird for these main. Yeah, another reason why I had an issue with like them, squeezing these other shows like in between, like the last PLE and SummerSlam, like with the Saturday night's main event and Evolution happening so close to SummerSlam. Because yeah, SummerSlam the build's now feeling a little rushed too. I think it'll still be great considering how Evolution turned out, but for the second biggest show of the year, they needed more time to like tell proper stories for it.
and not only that, and then with the success of Evolution, like I said, a while ago, SummerSlam has some big shoes to fill up after what they just did.
Yeah, they do. And with Punk and Gunther, I think they definitely have a chance. I look forward to seeing what
Yes,
their back and forth promos are going to be like in the next few weeks. Those are going to be
yes,
fucking fun.
yes.
Yeah, those are going to
But
be
the
a lot of
fact that
fun.
Punk is in this situation in another championship match in your marquee event of SummerSlam against Gunther of all people, I'm so looking forward to this match. I love it. I'm so excited for it. The moment that Punk was pointing up to Gunther, and it kind of reminded me back, back then, a long time ago, whenever the person will point up to them and to the champion, and you just like, oh my god, this buildup is going to be so good, and it is. Can't wait for it.
Yeah, me either. And then after the match, Punk and Jay were both attacked again by Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. And as
Mm,
Bronson Reed was going to go for the tsunami, we heard the music of Roman Reigns hit the speakers, and the pop that he got when he got out was
unbelievable.
unfucking real.
He is the needle maker, ladies and gentlemen. He is the one that moves the company, and yeah, he deserves all the cheers in the world because boy, he went in there and did damage. He literally took out Bronson Reed. He did a Superman punch as soon as he got in the ring, and he took out Braun Breaker and Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman's reaction was just so priceless. Oh my god! After he literally called him out like what a week ago, telling him how he doesn't have the balls to come back out, and then this happens, and yeah, Roman Reigns is back, and it, like you were saying, was it last week? It looks like it's going to be a tag match. It's going to be Roman Reigns and Jey Uso versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed at SummerSlam.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And yeah, Roman coming out
Yes.
was a great cap off to this show. It was a great
Oh,
cliffhanger to
unexpected.
leave off of.
Yeah, I love how it was completely unexpected because we weren't expecting Roman Reigns to come back because we were so focused. Sorry, we were so focused on this Gauntlet match of what was going to happen. Where we just, I mean, Roman's been gone for like he hasn't been back since that after WrestleMania. That was back in April. You know what I mean? So we weren't even thinking about that. We were so focused on this one thing, and then boom, they just. I loved how they. I just love the just the mystery behind it, how we didn't know. I love that.
Yeah, it was very well done. Well, I kind of knew he was
Yeah,
coming back eventually, but yeah, just him coming
but
back at the
not
end of the
now.
show
Not
like this.
Yeah, not at that moment. I mean, I knew he was gonna come back though, but like not in this scenario, in this moment where you had so much chaos going on, you forgot about that. I love that.
Yeah, it was a great way to cap off the show. And yeah, that crowd reaction that Roman got was
Oh,
unfucking real. They
oh,
they were chanting Roman, Roman Reigns,
yeah.
Roman, Roman Reigns. Yeah, they were losing their fucking minds.
So was Paul Heyman.
Yeah,
You can hear him
yeah,
say no.
Paul Heyman was shaking and shivering like those debt collectors were after him when he was running ECW.
Oh, Jesus. Or shaking
Oh
when Brock
shit,
Lesnar went after him after he turned on him in 2002.
something like that.
Yeah.
Or when Vince McMahon was gonna fire, yeah, or when Vince McMahon
What?
was gonna fire him in 2001.
Oh.
All right, but anyway, yeah. So Raw was capped off with the return of Roman Reigns. So we have Roman Reigns back. We have the Raw Night One main event official for SummerSlam. So yeah, that SummerSlam card is like really shaping up now. So now
Yes.
coming out of Raw, we have Gunther versus Punk for the title. We have Naomi, Rhea, and Io in a three-way for the women's world title. We have Becky against Lyra for the women's intercontinental title. We're probably gonna get Raquel and Roxanne against Charlotte and Alexa. I see that
Mhm.
happening.
Oh, yeah.
We're probably gonna get Dominic and AJ for the intercontinental title.
Of course. You have to. Have to.
Yeah, and from what we saw at the end of the show, we're probably going to get Roman and Jey Uso against Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, and then
Hmm.
we have Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill for the women's title. We have Cody challenging John Cena for the WWE title, and we're likely going to get Jacob Fatu challenging Solo Sikoa in a rematch for the U.S. title.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it for that one. And also, you go back to John Cena and Cody Rhodes. I predict that this match will be better than the WrestleMania match.
Yeah, as long as Travis Scott stays away and they don't have
He
any
will
other
not be involved.
Yeah, as long as they, keep it between the two of them, although they're not going to have much time to build for it, considering that I think Cena's only appearance until SummerSlam is tomorrow night. So hopefully it is a better match than the one at WrestleMania, but as far as like the
Mm-hmm.
build getting there, it's looking a little sketchy.
Just one face to face. Oh,
Yeah, for the main event of the second biggest show of the year, after that was the same main event of WrestleMania and it did not turn out well and did not get good reviews. Yeah,
yeah,
that's not a positive sign, but hopefully they can change our minds.
yeah,
And also at SummerSlam, as we mentioned earlier, we were getting the tag match, including Jelly Roll and Randy Orton against the douchebag fuck Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre. And Jelly Roll was hosting Jimmy Kimmel last night, and he had Randy Orton out there as his guest.
yeah. I saw that. And then Drew
And then
McIntyre came out.
Drew McIntyre came out, and him and Randy Orton got into a brawl. And then Logan Paul, up to his shenanigans again, came out and like started insulting Jelly Roll, and he slapped him in the face. And then Jelly Roll made me so happy when he did this. After he got slapped in the face, he grabbed Logan Paul by the throat and slammed his ass to a damn table, just like he deserved.
Ooh,
Good.
boy. You know what? I'm just very curious on. I'm really gonna be really be paying attention to what my girlfriend's cousin is gonna be saying, because I have a funny feeling that, I don't know, probably like in a week or so, they're probably gonna ask us like, "Oh, you know what, Jonathan? When is this event? And when is Jelly Roll gonna wrestle? And blah blah blah." And I'm like, "See, this is what they do. Pull you in because you're a country fan and you like Jelly Roll and you're interested in what he's doing, and you're gonna, yep, that's what wrestling does."
Yeah, I'm going to be drinking lots of old fashions during that match.
They
Yeah, but
serve
before
old
we get out,
fashions at a MetLife Stadium.
I'll drink some beforehand. I'll pregame.
Oh, okay.
All right, anyway, but yeah, before we get out of here, Pat McAfee recently opened up about, why he decided to take time away from WWE, and he just said basically he was beat, he was exhausted. It was just
Yeah,
to the
I
point
mean,
where like his brain was fried, and he just like knew he didn't have the energy to, keep going on the schedule that he was going on.
oh yeah, I mean, it was just kind of obviously what we've been alluding to for the past couple of weeks. I mean, it's very obviously like he was tired. And then look, it's a lot to do. Like, look, you have your own ESPN show every morning, right? And then plus during college football season, you're doing, college game day. Plus you're doing, full time, commentating. So yeah, that is a lot. So, whew, that's a
Yeah,
lot.
definitely. And he has a kid too. He has a family also. Yeah, a lot
Yeah,
on his plate. And with
but
college
I am
football
think
season,
it's on. Yeah, it's on the horizon. And look, but I am thankful of the work that he did put in, though.
yeah, and Corey Graves is doing more than a great job of, replacing him in the
Oh,
meantime. Also
yeah,
Wade Barrett too. So yeah,
yeah,
it's WWE's in good hands until he gets back. And the dude needs to rest. The dude needs to rest. I saw some
yeah.
people hating on him online, saying that he can't handle the grind and that he's a pussy for
Ah,
doing what he did. But yeah, the hell with
put
that
your
fuckery,
no, put yourself in his
dumbasses.
shoes. Put yourself in his
Exact,
shoes. It's not.
exact.
It's not as easy as you think it is. Oh, you just like, no. If you
Hell
actually pay
no.
attention to the other things that he does outside of commentating, then yeah, it's not that simple as it thinks.
Hell no, it's not. But yeah, wish him well. Hope he gets that rest that he needs, and then he comes back fresh
Yeah.
whenever he does come back. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our Spotify channel, listen to the episodes, download them, let us know what you think, leave comments, subscribe to our Instagram page, like, follow it, our Facebook page as well. And yeah, we'd love to debate with you in a healthy way about everything we talk about in this show. Keyword healthy way.
Also, Twitter
Go
known
ahead.
as X, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, follow us on there as well.
Yep.
And yeah, you'll find much more positive content from us than from Nicki Minaj recently with her beef with SZA, but that's all another story.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and also you can find me on the PW Torch website. I write weekly reviews for Monday Night Raw about the feuds going on Monday Night Raw. Also, I do a VIP exclusive show on the PW Torch website where me and my co-host Chris Adams talk about different wrestling storylines and angles from a specific time frame and a movie that came out around that same time and how they're connected with each other. So check out for
Got you.
that too. Recently, this week, we did an episode about Jim Carrey's three hit movies from the year 1994, that being Ace Ventura, The Mask and Dumb and Dumber, and also Diesel's 3 title wins that same year in '94. That being the IC title, the tag titles, and the WWE title. Crazy they happened both the same year.
Crazy.
All right, so yeah, in any event, yeah, it was a crazy ass weekend of wrestling, and we have another crazy ass weekend of wrestling coming up in 2 weeks at SummerSlam, which I will be there live in person for, first time in 28 years. And until next time, for John Mano, this is Conscious Kurt with another edition of Clash of Champions. Take care, enjoy your weekend, and remember, don't be a douchebag or an asshole in real life or social media, because that toxic ass bullshit is for the birds.
And ladies and gentlemen, stay safe, stay blessed, and always stay adventurous.
Yes, sir, especially in the bedroom. Take care.